Galaxy Note 10.1. This is a 1280 by 800 resolution Android tablet. It features a quad-core processor at 1.4 gigahertz. You've got full HD playback and recording capabilities. That's going to happen through your 5 megapixel rear-facing camera or the 1.9 megapixel front-facing camera. Now, those specs sound good, and most people would be happy with that on their tablet, but that's not really what makes the Note series famous. What does is the fact that you're going to get something called the S Pen included, and you're going to get legitimate pen input, pen entry into this device. And I'm not talking about an aftermarket stylus that you use on like an iPad. This is legitimate. You're getting an active digitizer, and what that means is a lot more precision, much more similar to actually using a pen in real life instead of an afterthought like it is on the current generation iPad. So I'm really excited about testing this thing out and getting a better idea of just how that functions. If you guys are interested in pricing and availability on this product, I'm going to put a link down in the description, so definitely go check that out if this sparks your interest at all, if you want to see the full specs, etc. So let's do the unboxing. You saw the device first. We're going to get back to it in more detail, but first we have to cover the other items inside of the box. You've got your usual paperwork from Samsung. There's some user manual stuff as well as warranty information. You've also got a number of extra tips included. These little nubs can be installed into the pen if you happen to wear down the one that's pre-installed. Next, we have a USB cable. This is obviously going to be used for charging the device as well as syncing it to your computer if you choose to. It has Samsung's proprietary connector on one end, unfortunately, but that's what they've chosen to use. You've also got a number of different ear tips. That's because this device includes a set of headphones. Now, that's a positive. The reason I say that is because most manufacturers have given up on including headphones, and even though I've got so many headphones lying around and so many that I could choose to use, it's always a positive to see them include it for individuals who might not, and also people who buy the device and hope to get it completely up and running right out of the box. The next thing is probably the most self-explanatory aspect of this unboxing. You've got your power adapter. Mine happens to be North American because of my location. So here's a closer look at the actual device, and I think it's pretty good looking. The first thing that catches my attention are these speakers. They're forward-facing, and I really wish tablet manufacturers all did this. It just makes sense. Your ears are in front of the tablet, not underneath it, not behind it. You've also got a couple of cameras, one on the front that I just showed you, and then this one on the back right here. This is the better one at 5 megapixels, as I mentioned earlier in the video. You've also got an LED flash, and then your S Pen. It lives in the bottom of the device. It's got a metallic finish on the top. There's also a button there, which you can use for modifiers and whatnot, and you've also got a nub on the bottom, as I mentioned before, a very precision tip. That's the part that is user replaceable if you happen to wear that one down. Now, it feels really solid once it's installed. It doesn't feel like it's going to come out accidentally. On the top of the device, you have your power button volume rocker. There's a micro SD slot. You've got an IR transmitter, which is really interesting, and you've also got a headphone jack. Once again, here's a closer look at the S Pen. In terms of size, it's about 3/4 the size of a standard everyday ink pen, just to give you some kind of scale. I probably should have held one up at that point. There's also a microphone on the bottom of the device, as well as the proprietary connector that I mentioned earlier to go with that proprietary cable. Now, booting up the device, it's obviously going to take me into the setup, but rather than make you guys sit through the boring setup, I'll go ahead and do that off camera and then come back and show you guys how this thing works, how the pen entry works, and how responsive it is. It might be hard to get it across to you in video, but anyways, I'm going to boot up Samsung's application that, you know, is designed to take advantage of this S Pen. But first, I'll boost up the brightness so you get the best look you can. This screen does go very bright, for the record. My environment is very well lit, so boosting a screen to full brightness sometimes doesn't give you an accurate representation of how bright it is, but believe me, it is bright, it is bold, it is beautiful, it is a nice screen. So here is the application S Note, and this is where you can do a couple of different things. You can write notes regularly, like I did right there. Of course, the first thing anyone ever writes is hello. How cliche. And the erase function works really well. This is all really, really responsive. I'm sure you can tell that right now. Everything happens quickly and precisely. As I said earlier, that was my expectation. And I'm just going to write a few goofy things here. It also does recognition, so you can write something out, and then it can turn that into text. Otherwise, you're looking at a pretty standard Android tablet. Of course, Samsung has skinned it, so they've put in a few of their own special features, but it still is a very similar experience to what you're used to on the Galaxy Tab lineup of tablets. But this does have some features like you can do split screen, you can have a couple of apps open. Of course, those do have to be some very specific apps. You can't just use like YouTube on half the screen. That was what I was really hoping they would add, something like that. They've also included a copy of touch-based Photoshop, which is really cool, although I was terrible at it. There's a bit of a learning curve. I had to go through some of those tutorials. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this unboxing of the Galaxy Note 10.1, please leave it a thumbs up. It does help out a bunch. And otherwise, thanks as always for watching my content. It really does help out. For those of you that are waiting on UGPC, Ultimate Gaming PC content, I've got a new video coming up tomorrow, so definitely stick around for that. I also picked up the brand new PlayStation, the super slim PlayStation, so definitely keep it locked to the channel so you don't miss any of it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I'll catch you guys on the next